course, you're in town for Irish Invasion. Always interesting seeing probably a lot of future Notre Dame players on the football field. And there was a lot of interest because we had two future Notre Dame quarterbacks on the field together. There was video of them throwing the football together. Noah Grubbs, who recently verbally committed to the Irish, and, of course, Deuce Knight. Just give me your impressions of watching those two in person.
It was really neat, and there are definitely some other storylines. We're going to talk about one of the other bigger ones, but you definitely can find all of the coverage of this at blueandgold.com. All four of our full-time writers of Blue and Gold were there, so we had all sorts of observations, sights and sounds, that kind of stuff. And then on Tuesday morning, I posted my intel piece, so we wrote about what we saw, but then what did our sources see? So we wrote about that at blueandgold.com today as well. Now, the most interesting thing was definitely that Notre Dame had its two quarterback commits there. A couple years ago, CJ Carr was at Irish Invasion, and he committed a few days later, and that was really neat. But he wasn't even committed yet. So this year, you had both of your quarterback commits. You had Deuce Knight, who has so much intrigue, an elite prospect. He's been on campus for a few days, and then Noah Grubbs, who's Notre Dame's quarterback commit in the 2026 class, he announced his pledge to the Irish a day before the camp. So this was super cool, and they looked great. They, their measurements, all that stuff, great. How they look physically, them throwing the ball downfield, all good things there, Darren. I mean, very impressive. My favorite part was seeing Deuce Knight, and this was just so cool. And I'm so glad I got to be there to see this. And I'm talking, I was, from me to the other side of the room when this happened. Deuce Knight was walking down the sidelines with Elijah Burress, Notre Dame receiver commit, sees Noah Grubbs' parents, knows who they were right away, walks over, talks to them, and that was maybe 30 seconds or so of an interaction. Just kind of shows how neat and awesome of a young man Deuce Knight is. And then Deuce and Noah, when the quarterbacks pair up and we're kind of doing some warming up drills, it was those two guys working with each other, building that camaraderie early on. That was really neat to see, Darren. Notre Dame's two future quarterbacks who they will have down the line. And I do say they're two future quarterbacks with some confidence, Darren. Okay. Noah Grubbs has no interest in talking to other schools. He is fully locked in with the Irish. When I was flying out of South Bend Monday afternoon, I actually saw Grubbs and his family there. And, you're not allowed to talk to the recruits as a media member when they're on campus. That's a huge no-no. But at the airport, I got to talk to Noah and his family. And so that was a really cool thing for me. And I just get such a vibe that they're fully committed to the Irish. And then Deuce Knight, I don't know what to say about that I haven't said before, but I feel even more confident in it that he is bought in with Notre Dame. Building the class, his relationship with the coaches, his relationship with the players at Notre Dame now that he has trained with Riley Leonard, and all those things that he's done recently, fully committed to Notre Dame and spending a lot of time on campus this month. I mean, he was there for a few days. He's coming back for his official visit the weekend of June 14th. All is well with Deuce Knight. But going to the performance, let's get back to the actual camp. Deuce ran. Now, Noah didn't test, understandably so. Deuce did test 4.5 in the 40-yard dash, and he's 6'4". I think it was 208 pounds, might be a little over 6'4". He ran a 4.5 40-yard dash. I think it was a 10.8 in the broad jump, which is crazy good. That, to put that in perspective, that would have been the best measurement of any quarterback in the 2024 combine. The 4.5 was shockingly good. And his shuttle was outstanding too. I think it was a 4.3 or something, which would have been, I think, third best in the 2024 NFL Combine for a kid going into a senior year of high school. And throwing the ball, I mean, both guys underthrew, here and there, but the defensive back group at Irish Invasion was outstanding. The receiver group was pretty good, but you don't really have a whole lot of chemistry when you've just met those guys. Deuce did link up a good bit with Elijah Burress, who Deuce told me is like one of his best friends now. They look to have and I've tweeted about this for folks watching on your radio. You can find it on my Twitter account at Mike T. Singer. Yeah, they connected on some balls downfield. So they looked great. And I'll also add real quick, Darren, we got to see Riley Leonard, CJ Carr, and Steve Angeli. They all were, working with the quarterbacks and whatnot. That was pretty cool. Leonard looked great for what it was worth running around. You didn't see anything weird there. And that just between the coaches, the players, and the quarterback commits, like that group, it's seriously such a tight-knit room. Like there's no I talked about this in a video, Darren. Sorry, I'm really rambling here.
Okay.
People in press conferences all the time say things, and you got to take it sometimes with a grain of salt, Darren. Like what's really the truth here? All these quarterbacks and the coaches say that it's a tight-knit quarterback room. Is it really, though, if they're competing for one job? It is. These guys are tight. It's impressive, Darren. Like they say it's a tight-knit group. It really is. And you love to see it.
Mike, let's go beyond the quarterbacks for a second. Was there a player that had a big camp? And I don't want to say it was a surprise, but it caught people's attention.
Yeah. Darren, if I told you that the number 30 overall prospect and number 3 safety in the 2026 class went to Notre Dame to earn an offer, you'd be like, they haven't offered him already? This was kind of like a masterful job by Notre Dame to recruit him hard enough to get him to come to campus in camp without an offer, right? A lot of kids be like, man, why do I need to offer, come to camp to get an offer? Like, do you know who I am? Like that, and that's an understandable thing, but big kudos to Marty Biaggi leading this recruitment for Bralan Womack, who, again, elite prospect, borderline 5-star in the 2026 class, 6'1.5", 200-pound safety from Brandon, Mississippi, Hartfield Academy. We got to see him worked out with Marty Biaggi, who's closely with the defensive backs, and of course Mike Mickens. And Womack, I thought, was arguably the best player there. Darren, he's a safety, and he's locking up receivers at just playing man coverage, press coverage as a corner. Very reminding me of Ivan Taylor. Would that have been just last year? Yeah. Ivan Taylor, who was, of course, now a Notre Dame defensive back commit, worked out at corner, going to come to Notre Dame as a safety. I thought Taylor was just balled out that day. Womack gave me those same kind of vibes. And I think Notre Dame very much leads for him. And he's got offers from Ole Miss, Bama, LSU, and a lot of the big-time schools in the South. But I think Notre Dame leads for this elite prospect from Mississippi coming out of the camp. So there were other storylines, Darren. You had an in-state offensive lineman in the 2025 class, Cam Herron, who I thought looked really good, built like a tank. Notre Dame could offer him, and if they do, good chance he joins Notre Dame's 2025 class. There's some big-time 2027 prospects who the Irish liked and offered. It was a really good day, well-ran camp, smooth. All in all, good day for the Irish.